This episode of Spectre Sound Studio is brought to you by Keeps.
You just love instigating all those Gibson cult kids, don't you, Glenn? Keep doing it.
Who? Me? Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having an amazing Friday morning. Can't wait to get this weekend started. Now today's episode is brought to you by Keeps. We're going to have some more information on that in a few minutes. Anyway, let's get right to your comments and questions.
So, no big-time record producer is gonna drive by my house when I'm chugging in my basement, hear me, and beat down my door and offer me millions? Shows what you know!
Yeah, sad to say, you know what? I don't think that's gonna happen. Hey, I could be wrong. It could happen. Yeah, you know what? You'd probably get hit by lightning, or better yet, struck by a meteor before anybody hands you millions for writing generic chugging riffs. It's just not going to fucking happen. I mean, this all comes back to the very first NAMM I went to. I went and sat through a couple of the seminars and whatnot, and you know, the most important thing said that whole time, and this is something that stuck with me to this day, is that, look, this place is filled with a million great musicians. Nobody's going to hand you a deal just for shredding on your instrument. It's not going to happen. What did you do the other 362 days of the year that you weren't here? That's the important part. So yeah, if you're chugging away thinking somebody's going to hand you a record deal, no, it doesn't fucking work like that. You need to get out there and build your own audience. Then and only then do you ever have a chance of getting signed to a record deal. That's the only way it's going to work. Of course, these days, the big question is, why would anybody want to sign to a record label? It just seems like financial suicide to me.
Too many quality control issues with both that I ordered. Plus, after going back to their website, the prices aren't exactly cheap or competitive when you have to pay for shipping, taxes, and customs fees.
Clearly, you are not Canadian. Shipping, tax, and customs fees, yeah, that's something we deal with all the time. You're talking about Harley Benton. And here's the deal. I mean, you know, I've heard a couple different things about quality issues. So I'm putting this into motion. I think I got the guitar picked out that I want. I've set this up with a friend of mine who lives somewhere in the general vicinity of my studio. I'm not saying what town because I don't want to tip off the Toman guys. And I'm going to have them ship a Harley Benton guitar to his place so I can go pick it up and we can unbox it and see what the average consumer would be getting. Now, yeah, you might be absolutely right about customs and shipping fees, but as far as I know, I don't think U.S. Customs is charging very much to get a guitar into that country. In Canada, it might be a slightly different experience because the Canadian government just loves to charge anything they possibly can on anything you bring in. Yay, Canada. But then again, that's the price you pay for not going broke when you have to go to the hospital.
Fuck yeah, Glenn, you're really starting to sound like a guitar player. Seriously though, huge improvement since the Mustaine video. Maybe better gear does make you play better?
Nah, don't fall into that trap, man. That's just a bunch of marketing bullshit. The only thing that's going to make you a better player is putting in the time. I can definitely attest to that. I've been sitting around for hours and hours and hours, you know, if I'm watching, say, a Netflix series or something like that, and just doing endless runs up and down the neck. That's where the playing gets better. Cool thing was, you know, I got to hang out with Perfecto de Castro a little bit on at Gear Street there last August, and I'm gonna bring him in a couple times this fall and just have him kind of coach me on a couple things because I really like his teaching method and I think he's a really cool dude and an incredible player, and it's gonna be real cool to have him on the show, kind of have him give me a little advice about where I am and where I should go and some exercises to make me a better guitar player. If that's something you guys would like to see, please leave a comment below because as always I love hearing from you.
Thanks for the review, Glenn. Lately, I'm totally sick of the guitar forum people and their, how could you have bought a $1,000 plus guitar without even playing it? Yeah, right. Try to find the exact one you want in stock, close to your location, smartass.
Not sure which guitar you're referencing, probably the Mustaine V or something else like that. And sadly, that's just the case. A lot of us don't have access to huge guitar stores in our immediate neighborhood. They might not have what we're looking for, especially, you know, if you're in a smaller town like Windsor, Ontario, it has horrible retail. And that's one of the main reasons I hated this town for so long is because retail was just so fucking bad. Unfortunately, you know, Amazon came along. Turns out Jeff Bezos is, you know, basically evil incarnate, but the convenience factor of ordering online is great. And, you know, I order cameras online as well as instruments. I'll order stuff from online retailers and have them come in. That's going to be the reality for a bunch of us. So saying, oh, you should go try it out in the store, maybe isn't just fucking practical for a lot of us. We have to do the online thing. So that's what this show's for. So you guys don't make the mistake of making a bad purchase. If you like what I do, make sure you drop by Monday Mix Reviews and bring a song, and I'll be more than happy to check it out. And all of those donations just go right back into the show so I can do cool things like Fearless Gear Reviews. Hey guys, today's episode has been sponsored by Keeps. Now, Keeps is an online subscription service that helps guys like you and me keep their hair. The sad truth is, 2 out of 3 guys will experience hair loss by the time they're 35. Unfortunately, that's not me. I'm 52. Now, I haven't noticed any hair loss until just recently. I'm noticing it start to thin a little bit at the front and at the top here, so I figure it's time to start doing something about it. Now, if you're one of those unlucky bastards who's really starting to lose it, hope is not lost. Keeps is an online subscription service that offers clinically proven, research-backed treatments to stop hair loss and improve your hair growth. And what's great about it is you get doctor-recommended hair treatment without ever having to visit a doctor's office or go to a pharmacy. Treatments are delivered straight to your door and typically cost half of what a pharmacy charges, and you get 24/7 support. Now, just to be clear here, if you're already looking like Rob Halford, sorry dude, you are out of luck. Keeps is doing exactly that, helping you keep your hair. Now, if you're noticing things starting to thin out a bit and you want to try regrowing it, this might just be the ticket. Hair loss stops with Keeps. To get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/Spectre Sound Studios or click the link in the description below. That's KEEPS.com/Spectre Sound Studios. Now it's time for the Butthurt of the Week.
You're probably just gonna hate on my comment, but honestly, it's constructive criticism. Dude, stop making the same video. We get it. You hate Gibson. Gotcha. Next subject, for the love of God. Honestly, man, I love your vids. Keep up the good work. Just burn a pile of the Gibsons and be done with it. Ha ha ha.
Oh, I don't hate Gibson. I hate when people get ripped off by paying top dollar for sub-quality instruments. That's what pisses me off. It doesn't matter what brand is putting it out. If you're not going to fucking include the quality for the price you're charging, I'm going to call you out for that shit, and I'm going to keep calling it out until something fucking changes. Like, I don't know, build a quality instrument for the price you're asking. Is that really that fucking hard? Is that really that big of an ask? Apparently so to Legan. Stop making fun of Gibson. Stop building shitty guitars.
Why waste your energy being a hater?
Who's hating? I'm just calling it out as it was. It was a shit fucking paint job on that Mustaine V. They charged nearly $3,000 for it. Of course I'm gonna call that out. Oh yeah, what do you want me to do? Oh, it's Gibson, so it has to be good. Sorry to offend all your delicate little sensibilities out there. Yes, it's totally worth that money. No, it's fucking not. It's not hate to call out the fucking truth and call out bullshit when I fucking see it. If you don't like the truth, don't watch my show. There's plenty of other people out there who are gonna blow smoke up your ass because they've got sponsorships from certain brands. I don't fucking roll that way, pal. My job is to fucking help you save some money. Did you miss that part? Did you not get the memo? Did you miss the underlying theme or metaphor of this show? Yes, I'm trying to save you from making a stupid purchase. Please pay attention.
Please, for the love of God, move on to the next point and stop talking about the paint for 5 hours.
Okay, you know what? Great idea. Tell you what, guys, if you're looking for an awesome flying V with even more awesome paint, check out the LTD Arrow. This thing's amazing. And it'll cost less than half of what a Gibson will cost you.
Hey Glenn, not trying to sound like a ball buster here, but why is it you're comparing every single guitar on the show to the Gibson Mustaine V? The Epiphone video made sense, but unless I'm missing something, which very well could be, it just seems like you're beating a dead horse at this point. We all, generally speaking, know Gibson's quality control is in the tank and they're not what they used to be. Unless you're really trying to drive the point home to the Gibson-loving guitar boomers of the world, or maybe you're just using it repeatedly because it's the highest price point you've had on the show, and it's just some benchmark you've chosen, or some name Gibson generates more clicks. I'm not trying to troll, just a legitimate question. Love the show regardless, keep up the good work.
See, now that's a fair, constructive question. I've got no problem with that. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. You know, Gibson might be one of the most expensive guitars I've had on the show at this point. That's going to be changing. I went to the Guitar Summit there in Mannheim and talked with about 5 different brands who are going to be sending me all super nice custom guitars, all in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. And the whole idea is, you know, let's take a look at some of the smaller luthiers, see what they're building, and see what they can do competing at the same price point as what you would get for a Gibson, but you're getting small shop attention to detail without the I don't give a fuck assembly line feel that you get from an American-made Gibson. Now, the reason I featured Gibson on the show is because there seemed to be a massive interest in it. And yes, there are. It's still one of the most popular guitar brands on the planet. And I'm scratching my head. I just can't figure out why, because, you know, the paint job was such absolute garbage. I just don't fucking understand it myself. But you guys keep clicking on them, so I'll keep making them. It's kind of like stupid musician text. You know, we did that for 24 episodes and it kind of ran its course. I'm like, okay, let's do something new. And, you know, I do love to do more drum tutorials. I really would, but you guys just don't seem to want to click on those as much. So there we go. I mean, that may change in the future. If there's a big resurgence in recording acoustic drums, maybe we'll see more of that. But as of right now, probably not. That being said, hopefully I'm going to get some electronic kits on the show and see where the technologies come, because I did own a V-drum kit way back in 2000. And, you know, here we are 22 years later. I'd love to see how far the technology has come. And I'd love to give you my opinions on what I think about all that.
Glenn! My band is a serious predicament. A few months ago, I joined a band. They released a couple of songs via DistroKid on an account created by their old guitarist. That old guitarist left shortly after the songs came out. Only recently, when we were trying to figure out how to give myself and other new guitarists access to our Spotify page, we realized that the old guitarist had not created the DistroKid account using the band's email address, but using one of his own throwaway email addresses. We tried messaging the old guitarist to get the login details, but he keeps ignoring us and leaving us on red. What the fuck do we do? We're aiming to release a new double A-side single later this year, but we don't have access to our own distributor. Thanks in advance from Aberdeen, northeast of Scotland.
Well, there's no cure for being a dickhead now, is there? You know, if the guy's ignoring you, the only thing you really can do is probably open up a new DistroKid account, because they'll probably tell you the exact same thing. If he's got access to that account, he's got access to that account. You can't do anything about it. The great thing is, if nobody's bought your record, you don't have to worry about changing your band name, because nobody's going to give a shit. So maybe, you know, do that. Put out it, change the band name, you know, start a new DistroKid page. That's probably going to help a lot. I mean, like, unless you've got 500,000 album sales under your belt, I wouldn't worry too much about changing your band name or getting a new DistroKid page. You're not going to be giving up all that much. A little bit of a reality check every now and then goes a very long way, guys.
Hey Glenn, I see you've been giving a Harley Benton SG a fair bit of coverage. I've been playing over 30 years and am a big SG fan. Some with Gibson's, Epiphone to Tokai's SG. Would it be worth getting it for a punt? Don't have money to burn, especially now. Some cool advice on this would be cool.
Well, at like $265 US, this is not a big spend, so you're not really got too much to lose. I was pretty shocked by just how good this guitar was, actually. You know, it's a lot of fun to play, and you know, if you scratch it or you drop it or it gets lost or stolen, it isn't that much to lose. So yeah, this one might be an awful lot of fun to get. You know, they've got it in several different colors and whatnot. Yeah, just a great instrument. The great thing is, it's got Goto hardware on there, so it stays in tune. Imagine that. Good luck getting that particular feature to work on a Gibson.
I don't know about the rest of your fans, but when buying guitars over my lifetime, my intention has always been to keep them.
Yeah, you know, that's my thing too. I don't buy guitars to put them up on a wall and sell after a couple years. I'm there to buy them and keep them and play them and enjoy them. That's the whole point. Oh, you might not make a lot of money if you buy a Harley Benton. You can't resell it. Who gives a fuck? They're there to play. Are you a player or are you a poser? That's the question that you need to ask yourself.
I've been on Fiverr for over a year. I got only one customer. One! He was very happy with what I recorded for him, bass for some disco tunes, no less. Yes, I can pull that off. I'm quite versatile. And returned several times. He left me great reviews, but it didn't help me get other customers. So there's an idea about a video on how to get clients on Fiverr. I also worked in several music stores and actually could do that again. Unfortunately, no one was hiring when I was looking. As for number 5, to all my bass playing brethren, it's a flashlight, not a fleshlight.
Oh, a video on how to get clients on Fiverr. Yeah, I never really thought of that. I mean, like, seriously though, if you got a home studio and you're looking to get bands, start at the local level. That's at least what worked for me. Go to some shows, meet some bands, and ask somebody to come in. You might have to do your first project or two for free, or do a single for free or something like that, but you will get people in. The other thing is you do is sponsor a benefit, and you can get clients that way. That's one way I did it, where I sponsored like a suicide prevention hotline there a couple of years ago. And the band that won, you know, got some time in the studio, and we did a couple tracks that turned out great. The hilarious thing was, you know, they won 10 hours and we managed to pull off 2 songs. They wanted to do an entire album. I'm like, yeah, guys, that's just not going to happen. 10 hours is only 10 hours. They did manage to pull off 2 songs and it went pretty well. The hilarious bit was, you know, the next year they went into a studio to do it for real and went up recording and re-recording and re-recording and re-recording and re-recording. Lad, Guns N' Roses, Chinese Democracy, just doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting absolutely nowhere. When they came in my studio, we did most of it live. You know, they had the guy standing around the drummer. We just banged it out and it worked great. Sometimes that's the winning formula, because when you overanalyze stuff and you stop listening and start looking at stuff on the screen, that's when the music suffers.
Olu started to work on his own drumming for the same reason you worked on your guitar skills. Any plans on tweaking your drum skills?
Yeah, my drum skills are absolutely non-existent, but I tell you, that might be kind of fun to learn how to play drums at some point. I don't know, man. Maybe, is that something you guys would like to see? Maybe I could do like a progress video on that. You know, it's like, you know, try doing the old 4 on the floor kind of stuff. Maybe some basic AC/DC type beats, that kind of thing, just so I can track stuff in here and not have to go out of house. That might be fun to do. If that's something you guys would like to see, please leave a comment below, because once again, I love hearing from you guys, and sometimes I get inspired to do crazy shit like that. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Glenn, what's your take on BC Rich guitars jumping on a hype train due to Stranger Things cameo of the brand? They had such crazy shapes like Warlock and Beast. I myself had cheap 4-string Warlock bass with Beast headstock. That thing looked awesome. It cost me around $150, but it sounded pretty cool. Used was Behringer BX 4500H. Another cheap piece of gear. I could squeeze pretty mid-bite out of it. Shame there's no more in production of these things.
Okay, are we talking about Behringer or are we talking about BC Rich? BC Rich, I had one of those acrylic Warlocks, and it was kind of cool, but it's hard to stay in tune because the body was so heavy compared to the neck, so it definitely had some tuning stability issues, which is a drag, but it did record pretty fucking well once you got the damn thing into tune. The one BC Rich I would love to check out would be like the 10-string Rich bitch. You look at some of the early Megadeth stuff, Mustaine was playing one of those. It looked pretty fucking cool. It had like, you know, it had your 6 strings, and then, you know, you had like an extra 4 end pins down here, and the strings would come back here, and you'd have like tuning pegs at this end of the guitar. It's pretty weird looking. Would love to get my hands on one just to see how it would record. I think it'd be neat, that's for sure. Don't have any contacts at BC Rich. Heard some so-so things about their quality as of late. It remains to be seen, but at least back in the 80s, they were pretty fucking legendary. They were very highly regarded guitars. Not sure what the fuck happened to them. Hopefully they can pull their heads out of their asses and start making quality instruments once again.
But Glenn, the tone is truly in the name on the headstock. You just don't understand. Hashtag nameplate tone.
Oh, that's what I've been getting wrong all this time.
Hi Glenn, I know I've asked this once, I don't know if you saw it, so I'll ask it again. I'd like to see videos on guitar maintenance, adjustments, and stuff. How to not like completely suck at setting up your guitars or something like that. I'm sure you would make those entertaining. It was already out there on YouTube. Mange Unchar Glenn.
I'm going to take a wild guess. That's some language for fuck you, Glenn. Thank you very much for writing that in. 1,000 fucks be upon you as well. Now, that might be a video worth doing. Might be kind of fun. Yeah, how to not completely suck at setting up your guitar. I think I could have some fun with that because I've definitely made some mistakes along the way when it came to learning how to set up my guitar. I've definitely stripped a couple of truss rods in my day. I think that would be something to really emphasize on how to do truss rod adjustments and not fuck up your truss rod in the process. Yeah, that might be a video worth doing. I think that might be a lot of fun. Yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks for the suggestion, man.
By better, he means what he wants to hear. Been watching and it's obvious most of these videos are just his opinions. Also, he'll think that I'm pissed off or whining because I don't agree with him.
Oh, I don't know, Justin. Just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean you're whining. The thing is, yeah, most of my videos are based on my opinion. You know, take it for what it's worth. If you don't find any value in my opinion, that's absolutely fine. I would invite you to share your opinion and make a video about how you would like to see people write better songs. That's the great thing about YouTube. You just don't have to sit around and bitch. You've got access to a worldwide audience. All you got to do is do something and be creative when you do it. So if you've got some suggestions for how the rest of us on how to write better songs, believe me, we're all ears. Or better yet, why don't you send us some links to some of the songs that you've written and blow our minds? We'd all love to hear that.
You know, it took a comment from today's video to put this together, but Glenn is getting better at guitars, really proof of his point of the last 100 years, however long he's been doing these. You work at music, you start to suck less and less.
Your playing is nothing to shit on, but anybody who should just take a look at the older videos. Like it or not, it's a measurable improvement. Well, thank you very much, Chris. I really do appreciate the observation. Yeah, that's the key about getting better on guitar is just put in the time. And yes, you can look at some of my earlier videos and you can see the progress that's being made. A lot of guys have said, hey, you've lost a lot of weight over the years. It's the same thing. You just got to put in the time and you got to do the work. That's all there is to it. Now, for those of you guys who are at home who might be struggling and might be kind of sitting in a rut or in a box and don't know how to break out or improve yourself, please check out this video here. It's called How I Got Better on Guitar, and it's 3 fundamental things I changed in my playing that made me a much better player. Check it out.